Welcome back to the Iraqi Dinar channel, everyone. Today, we have a major story hitting the headlines that could signal big changes for Iraq and, potentially, the Iraqi dinar itself. Newsweek, one of the most influential news magazines in the world, has just put Prime Minister Mohammed Shia Al-Sudani on its cover. This is not just a regular political feature, it carries meaning and implications that we need to unpack carefully. So sit tight and let's dive into what this could mean for Iraq, its economy, and yes, the Iraqi dinar. The first thing that jumps out is the timing. Al-Sudani has been making waves domestically with his reform agenda and internationally with Iraq's diplomatic moves. By putting him on the cover now, Newsweek is essentially sending a signal to the global audience that Iraq is at a pivotal moment. This is more than just a feature story, it's a statement that Iraq leadership is gaining visibility and influence on the world stage. Many analysts see this as a nod to Al-Sudani's efforts in stabilizing Iraq's political environment. Over the past year, Iraq has faced significant challenges, economic pressures, security concerns, and ongoing reconstruction efforts. Al-Sudani's leadership style, emphasizing both reform and diplomacy, seems to be getting international recognition. And when a magazine like Newsweek chooses to highlight a leader, it often reflects perceived momentum or credibility. For Iraqi citizens and investors watching closely, this is a notable moment. It isn't every day that a US-based mainstream publication highlights an Iraqi leader so prominently. The optics suggest that Iraq's role in regional stability and economic recovery is becoming more acknowledged globally. This recognition could translate into increased confidence, not just politically but also economically, which may affect markets, investment, and yes, the currency. Speaking of the currency, let's talk about the Iraqi dinar. Anytime international attention turns to a country's leadership, especially in a context of reform and stabilization, it can indirectly impact currency sentiment. Investors pay attention to political stability and leadership credibility. The cover story may signal that Iraq is on a path toward stronger governance, which could eventually support the IQD rate if accompanied by tangible policy changes. Digging deeper, Newsweek didn't just put Al-Sudani on the cover randomly. The headline and imagery are carefully crafted. The magazine's team likely analyzed Iraq's current political climate, regional partnerships, and economic prospects before making this editorial decision. The message is subtle but powerful. Iraq is emerging from turbulence, and its leadership is now commanding international attention. Now, many viewers might ask, does this mean a Dinar RV is coming? While it's tempting to make that connection, we must stay grounded in reality. Currency reevaluations depend on multiple economic and financial factors, not just media recognition. However, what this cover does signal is renewed focus on Iraq, which can enhance global perception and indirectly influence financial confidence. Another angle to consider is the symbolism of media validation. When a globally recognized publication highlights a leader, it often increases legitimacy in the eyes of international partners. This can facilitate foreign investment, international aid, and even strategic partnerships. Iraq has been working on attracting investors to energy, infrastructure, and development sectors, and a cover story like this contributes to that narrative. The political context is also key. Al-Sudani has been navigating complex domestic politics, balancing various factions and addressing public concerns. The fact that Newsweek chose this moment to spotlight him might reflect growing confidence in his ability to manage Iraq's internal challenges effectively. For ordinary Iraqis, this can be a morale boost and a sign that leadership is being recognized globally. But from an economic perspective, Iraq has long relied on oil revenues. Global confidence in leadership can indirectly influence the perception of stability in the energy sector. If international markets see Iraq as politically steady, this could enhance trade, foreign contracts, and the perception of risk, all of which affect the Iraqi economy and, by extension, the dinar. Observers are already debating the implications of this cover. Some argue it's purely symbolic, while others suggest it's a harbinger of broader reforms and international engagement. Either way, the coverage has sparked conversation, not just in Iraq, but across political and financial circles worldwide. It's also worth noting the role of timing in media. Cover stories are strategic. Choosing Al-Sudani now indicates Newsweek sees Iraq as a key player in the region at this moment. This timing can correlate with political initiatives, diplomatic trips, or economic programs that the country is launching. It's not random, it's calculated visibility. For investors and dinar enthusiasts, understanding the signal behind media coverage is crucial. While it's not a direct financial indicator, it provides context for global sentiment. When a respected publication highlights Iraq's leadership, it implies growing credibility, which is a soft factor that can influence decisions on foreign investment and currency perception. Another important aspect is regional impact. Iraq sits at the crossroads of major geopolitical interests. Increased international attention on its leader may shift how neighboring countries engage economically and diplomatically. These relationships can ultimately affect trade, stability, and the broader perception of Iraq in global markets. The cover also draws attention to Al-Sudani's domestic policies. Issues like anti-corruption measures, infrastructure projects, and economic reform programs are likely to be highlighted. When these policies are validated internationally, it reinforces the narrative that Iraq is moving in a positive direction, and media coverage is a reflection of that. Critics might say this is just media hype, but even if it is, perception matters. The way global audiences view Iraq can influence international loans, foreign aid, and partnerships. Perception drives confidence, and confidence is a key factor for any developing economy looking to stabilize its currency and financial system. For viewers tracking the dinar closely, this is a moment to watch developments carefully. Any increase in political credibility and international engagement can eventually support economic initiatives that impact the currency market. It's a long-term signal rather than an immediate trigger, but it's significant nonetheless. It's also important to recognize the psychological impact of such coverage. For citizens, seeing their leader recognized internationally can boost morale and create optimism about Iraq's future. Positive sentiment at the population level often translates into consumer confidence and broader economic stability. From a financial perspective, analysts will now be watching for follow-up actions. International attention often precedes investment, trade agreements, or development projects. Iraq's government may use this moment to push forward initiatives that reinforce stability and growth, which can influence economic sentiment over time. Looking at media trends, we see that leaders featured on major covers often experience a spike in attention from investors and policymakers alike. Newsweek's cover can serve as a reference point for discussions in financial institutions and diplomatic circles, signaling that Iraq is a country to watch. For those following the Iraqi dinar closely, this means staying informed. While the cover itself doesn't guarantee immediate currency changes, it sets the stage for broader recognition of Iraq's leadership and economic initiatives. Timing, policy, actions, and international engagement will ultimately determine the impact. Another perspective is the international narrative. Western media highlighting Iraq's leadership sends a message to global audiences that Iraq is transitioning toward a more stable and recognized governance model. This narrative can play a subtle but important role in shaping perceptions around foreign investment and economic partnerships. In conclusion, Newsweek's decision to put Al-Sudani on the cover is more than just a photo opportunity. It reflects recognition of Iraq's evolving political and economic landscape. For Iraqis, investors, and dinar watchers, it's a moment to pay attention, analyze, and prepare for the implications that follow. So, what's next? We'll continue monitoring Iraq's political moves, economic policies, and international engagements closely. Every step Al-Sudani takes from here could reinforce the signals seen in this Newsweek cover, making this a key moment in Iraq's journey toward stability and global recognition. Stay tuned to the Iraqi Dinar channel for updates, analysis, and expert commentary on everything affecting Iraq and the dinar. This is a pivotal moment, and we'll be here to guide you through the implications, one story at a time. Remember, this coverage is for informational purposes only, and while it offers insight into political and economic developments, it is not financial advice. Stay informed, stay cautious, and stay connected with the latest updates on Iraq and the dinar. That's all for today's breaking news. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more updates on Iraqi dinar, IQD rates, and currency developments. We'll be back with more analysis as this story unfolds.